Welcome back to Hoffman Leatherworks. Today we're going to be doing a outside the waistband holster for a Glock 48 with a lining. The lining that I use is a kip skin, of course veg tan, and here you see me I got the holster itself already put onto the leather with the laser, so now I'm just cutting out the lining that I'm going to be using. It's a really nice soft strong leather. Of course you can use almost anything, since a lot of people say you can't use a chrome, like a suede chrome tanned. I don't know, I've used it with my own personal stuff and used it for a long time, and I haven't seen any issues, and I guess the debate will go on. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get working on the lining here. Just use the regular contact cement on both pieces, the 6-7 ounce leather and then the kip skin for the lining. Again, the contact cement I use is just from Lowe's, Home Depot, the regular contact cement. I don't know, I've said this many times before, I just think it's a huge waste of money, and these people that say you have to use the barge and there's no other glue, it's insane to spend that much money on something that it just doesn't matter. It's people being arrogant about thinking that they know the best. Use whatever you want. If you want to use it, go ahead. We're just gluing two pieces of leather together. This is not any kind of brain surgery or anything, so don't get all twisted up and think you got to have one kind of leather or contact cement because someone tells you that. It's just not true. So anyway, we'll go here and let the contact cement dry 5-10 minutes, just till it becomes tacky. We'll put the two together. I just have a little roller. I'll roll it down. So you can see I haven't cut out the holster yet. I haven't punched the holes. I haven't punched the belt slots. Nothing. I glue it all first, and now I'll go back and punch through both pieces of leather. That way you got your holes perfect, and once it's all glued together, you're pretty much good to go. Remember to hit the subscribe button, the like button, the alert button, all the buttons. Got a lot of holster videos coming, so hopefully you can learn something. Maybe pick up something that you didn't know. Remember to leave a comment if you have any questions. This is just the way I do it. This is not the law. So let me know how you do things, if you do something a little different. And so you can see I'm getting it all cut out. Again, once you glue the lining in, do all that before you cut it, then you get perfect edges. You don't have to go back and try to cut it twice and everything. So, and this is actually an outside the waistband pancake style holster for a Glock 48. I've done a video on this holster before, but just not with the lining. You can see there's holes to stitch just the lining part. So I'll go ahead and stitch just for the lining first, and then we'll go back and stitch the holster itself together. And here we kind of jumped ahead a little bit. You can see that just the top and the bottom on each piece has been stitched. And then I went and dyed it. Now I will go use the Dremel, and got a little dye on the places where I want to glue, and I'll just rough this up a little bit. Again, there's 1,000 ways you can do this. I just have a little sanding disc on the Dremel, and I'll just hit it and kind of rough it up a little bit, just to help that glue stick a little bit better. And you can see I haven't punched the belt loop holes yet. I'll go ahead and glue these together and then punch them afterwards. Again, that way we know they're 100% lined up. So this is, again, the same contact cement that we've been talking about. We'll go ahead and give it a good coat and leave it sit for 5-10 minutes. Again, not critical. Just to let it dry. Should feel, fairly dry to the touch. Get a nice good coverage. I've also heard people say you got to give it 2 coats, let the first one dry and do it again. Just not true. I get, if you want to do it, great. You definitely don't have to. I've made hundreds of these holsters and many, many pieces of, stuff, different stuff, not only holsters with leather, and glued it, and I've never did that and never had a problem. So do however you choose. Here I'm sticking it together, and you can see I got a bunch of awls, and I use those to align the holes. Because that front piece of leather is a little slightly bigger than the back, so it kind of can be a little bit of a bear to line up a little bit, but you get that extra piece, a little bit bigger in the front, and it really helps the molding process. You don't have to take a hammer and pound your molds into the holster. In general, you don't have to worry about your gun holsters being so tight and your customers have to break them in, and it's just too much of a pain in the ass. So, but usually with all my patterns, I give you an option. There's both the front piece that's the same size and the front piece that is a little oversized. So if you do like making them that way, with the front piece the same size, great. You got it there. So go ahead and do the standard water. Leave it soak for a few minutes. Again, nothing critical, nothing special. Tub of water that sits on my workbench all the time. Clean it once, twice a week. I kind of hit it with a paper towel a little bit just to get some of the excess water off. Go ahead and use my Glock 48 mold. Put it in there, and there on the left you see the press that I've made. Just 2 pieces of wood and some really high density foam. Go ahead and squeeze it in there. I use 4 clamps and give it a good squeeze, and this you can leave, as long as you want. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, overnight. I don't really notice much of a difference. I just do it. I try to do it at least for an hour, but really depending upon workload. I got several of these presses, so I can do, several holsters at once, but sometimes if you got 5 or 6 holsters to do in a day, then you start, leaving them in there a little bit less, but I don't really think that it affects. I haven't seen any kind of a difference, whether it's 15 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. So here's the holster. At this point, you can do some hand molding if you'd like. I generally don't. I think some of these holsters that are super molded and got these real deep grooves in them are not only unnecessary, it doesn't help. I think it doesn't make them look good either. I think it looks, kind of crappy. So I want a good holster that looks nice, has a nice profile, and that works. making these deep grooves in there is just, I don't know. But hey, if you like it, go ahead. Not saying this is the right way, this is just the way I do it. So remember to subscribe and hit the like button, and of course leave me any comments that you'd like. I try to get to all of them, answer all of them, at least acknowledge all of them. So see what doing the edges. I use saddle soap, a little water, and a sponge. Get the edges. A little softened up, and then I use a Dremel with a little tool on the end, and then I finish it up by hand. Here I'm just spraying on with the airbrush, the final coat. Everything's dry. This is the next day. I use leather balm mixed half and half with water. Give it a good couple light coats. It dries really fast, so give it a couple light coats with the air gun, airbrush. Then I just use a brush and buff it out. It gives it a really nice sheen. Gives it a little bit protection. These holsters don't need to be, super watertight, and you're not going swimming with them on, so. But hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you think. Any comments are appreciated. Thanks for watching. Happy holstering.